Hey everybody, and happy Super Bowl week. We've got a lot of big Ravens fans here at Warschawski, and we're really excited that our team is in the big game. But frankly, we'd be watching the Super Bowl whether our team was in it or not, because we like to watch for the ads, of course. We like to see how some of the biggest brands take the biggest stage in all of advertising and deliver their brand messages. Some of them do it really well, and frankly, some of them tank. I'm here to explain to you how we take a critical eye to Super Bowl ads as marketing communications professionals and what you can look for in Super Bowl ads this weekend. So why is Super Bowl advertising such a big deal? Well, for starters, it has an enormous audience. Last year in the United States alone, 111 million people watched the Super Bowl, and worldwide it was 168 million. As ratings go, that means more than 4 in every 10 households had the game tuned in. And that's why networks can charge between $3.7 and $3.8 million for a 30-second spot on this year's Super Bowl. Is it worth it? Debatable. There may be other ways to spend your money and time and energy to get your brand messages across that might be more resonant with your target audience. But if you do decide to do a Super Bowl ad, you should do it right. So what do we mean by doing a Super Bowl ad right? Everybody's first reaction is go for the entertainment value. And that's true of Super Bowl ads. Generally speaking, a Super Bowl ad has to be more memorable, stand out from the crowd, and get the entertainment value piece right. But that's not the entire story. And you may remember some Super Bowl ads that were funny, but you can't remember the brand they were for, and it didn't really make an emotional connection with you. Another thing to look at is whether the ad actually establishes or changes perceptions that you may have had. A good example of that in recent years is last year's imported from Detroit Chrysler commercials with the soundtrack from Eminem. It made people rethink the concept of an American-made car, and particularly a Detroit-made car, and positioned it more as a luxury automobile that may be an import, and it did so in an emotionally relevant way. Of course, it's important in Super Bowl advertising to be memorable. It's one thing to talk about that hilarious ad that you saw the next day, but could you remember what brand it was for? It has to have some lasting impact and power, and you get that by speaking again emotionally and reaching somebody at a gut level. So what are some examples of some good ads and some bad ads? Generally speaking, a good ad is something like the E-Trade Baby. Everybody's familiar with the E-Trade Baby. Yeah, it's funny, it's memorable, you chuckle at the ad. But the brand benefit is really clear. The message is, it's so easy, a baby can do it. And by reusing that same imagery year after year, E-Trade has really built a powerful brand through their Super Bowl advertising. Some brands who have missed the boat lately, surprisingly enough, Coca-Cola, has had some really off-the-mark, non-brand-centric ads that really don't have any emotional connection at all. There's no emotional connection to polar bears frolicking in the wilderness. And this year, it doesn't sound like their plan for an ad is much better. We'd be curious to hear what you think. They've come a long way from the I'd like to teach the world to sing emotional connection, and it's not a good thing for the brand. So let's look at a couple of examples from last year's Super Bowls that to me embody a good brand-centric ad, and that's from Chevy trucks, versus a really bad, trite, commodity-style ad from another car company. And maybe you can start to see the difference between an emotional connection and an ad that really misses the mark and frankly wastes millions of dollars.
Where's Dave?
Dave didn't drive the longest-lasting, most dependable truck on the road. Dave drove a Ford.
Twinkie? Yeah.
Looks like we made
Chevy Silverado. From the beginning of your workday to the end of the world, Chevy runs deep.
Change cannot be contained. The all-new 2013 Lexus GS. This is just the beginning.
So that Chevy ad had a clear sense of humor. It was a funny concept. It was timely with the Mayan apocalypse. But the message, the brand message, was perfectly clear. Chevy trucks are going to outlast their competition. And it was directed at a very clear target audience, the tough guy truck owner, who even bemoans the fact that their buddy just didn't make it because he didn't make the right choice in truck. Now take a look at the other spot and see how really, frankly, lame it was. Talking about change, introducing the new car in, yeah, something that they hoped to be a dramatic way, but that had no lasting, memorable impact, and certainly no emotional connection. So we hope this year you'll take a critical eye to the Super Bowl ads, and we'd love to have you weigh in on your thoughts on this year's ads. Follow Warschawski's Facebook page and make sure you make your comments on Monday after the big game. Thanks, and go Ravens!